Mr. Papenfus, thank you. You were making the point earlier that you don't want to stand side by side with SABC. You don't agree with collective bargaining. Irvin, Jim from Numsa says that you've made a whole lot of matters worse by trying to reverse workers' rights. Your response to that?
You know what, our approach that it is for a business to determine its own wage has saved tens of thousands of jobs in the industry. We're not making it worse. In fact, we are in favor of proper wages, but we cannot determine a wage sitting in Johannesburg, determine a wage for a little company in the Karoo. It's impossible. You can't do that. And that's what the centralized collective bargaining model has done. All that we are standing for is that a business must determine its own wage. We are signatories to the Pension and Provident Fund of the Council. We are signatories to this dispute resolution mechanism agreement of the Council. But what we cannot do is to sit in Johannesburg and decide that a small company in the Karoo must pay a particular wage. The fact that you can afford it doesn't mean that that company can afford it. The moment you force a wage upon a company that it cannot pay, it immediately leads to retrenchment of employees.
But Mr. Papenfus, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but don't you agree that some employers, some businesses will always want to exploit workers? We've just seen that in the history of this country and others.
Well, you know, that is true, but you know, you need to weigh up. What are you going to do? Remember, if I tell if a person, a multimillionaire, decides that he wants to pay his domestic 20,000 Rand a month, and he and many others decide that the wages of domestic workers must now be 20,000 Rand a month. If they then decide, in terms of this model, that all employers in South Africa must pay their employees, their domestic workers, 20,000 Rand a month, what's going to happen? You'll have massive unemployment. So this is what's happening. Okay. So yes, there might be employers that abuse workers, but let me tell you, that any businessman, and this is a typical House member, understand that if you want to have a sustainable, prospering business, you have to pay good wages. And they do it. That's all we're saying. We're not going to tell you what you must pay.
Okay, finally.
That's all we have to do, yes.
I apologize, we're running out of time. Numsa says that more than 400,000 workers across 9,000 companies will down tools. Surely the businesses and the sector can't stand that for long. Do you think there will be some meeting of minds along the way?
Well, we're open to discussion, but 4,000 workers at 9,000 companies are not going to down tools. We have statistics that indicate the opposite. Workers know the constraints in the economy. Workers understand that businesses cannot pay certain wages, and their demand in some cases is outrageous. And please understand, it's not that we think that a certain wage is outrageous. We're saying that the economy doesn't allow it. We have a 44% unemployment rate, a 64% youth unemployment rate. Now, if you want to make that worse, then we have to take the Numsa approach. We can't do that.
All right, thank you for your time tonight. The CEO of the National Employers Association of South Africa, Gerhard Papenfus. All right, with that we take a